It started with a blue notification on my phone, a friend request. The name made my stomach drop. Liam. Liam was the boy I dated in high school. He was the complete opposite of Michael. He was a musician, wild, unpredictable, and broke. We had a passionate, volatile relationship that ended in tears when we went to different colleges. I hadn't seen him in nearly 2 decades. I stared at his profile picture. He looked older, rugged, with a guitar slung over his shoulder and a scruffy beard. He looked like freedom. I accepted the request. It felt harmless, just curiosity, right? Then came the message. Just 2 words. Hey, stranger. I should have deleted it. I should have blocked him. I knew even then that responding was opening a door I might not be able to close. But I was bored. I was feeling invisible in my own life. So I typed back, "Hey yourself." The slide into infidelity didn't happen in a hotel room. It happened on a screen. For weeks, we just messaged. It started with catching up. Then it moved to reminiscing. Do you remember that night at the beach? Do you remember the song we used to listen to? We were rebuilding a world that no longer existed. I found myself smiling at my phone like a teenager. I started hiding my screen from Michael. I turned off my notifications so they wouldn't pop up while we were watching movies. I was living in a digital fantasy. Liam told me everything I wanted to hear. He told me he never stopped thinking about me. He told me his life was empty without me. He painted a picture of us as star-crossed lovers who had been kept apart by circumstance. He made me feel like the protagonist of a romantic tragedy. Meanwhile, Michael was in the next room, folding laundry, completely unaware that his wife was falling in love with a ghost from 1999. The emotional affair is almost more dangerous than the physical one because it rewrites your history. I started looking at Michael with resentment. Why wasn't he as poetic as Liam? Why didn't he send me songs in the middle of the night? I started to view my stable, comfortable life as a prison. I convinced myself that I had settled for Michael because it was the safe choice, and that Liam was my true destiny. We finally agreed to meet. Liam was playing a gig at a bar in the city. I told Michael I was going out for drinks with them, e-girls from work. The lie came out of my mouth so easily it scared me. I dressed in a way I hadn't dressed in years. Tight jeans, high heels, red lipstick. Excited, I felt alive. When I walked into that bar and saw him, the years melted away. He looked exactly like the boy I remembered, just with a few more lines around his eyes. He saw me, stopped playing, and smiled. Later, in the dark corner of a booth, he took my hand. He told me I was beautiful. He told me I didn't belong in the suburbs. He told me I belonged with him, on the road, living a life of art and passion. I went back to his hotel room. It wasn't a choice. It felt like gravity. In that room, I wasn't the accountant's wife. I wasn't the responsible adult. I was Sarah from senior year, wild and reckless. We spent the night talking about how we would run away together. He asked me to leave Michael. He said he had a tour starting next month and he wanted me to come with him. He said we could finally have the life we were promised. Driving home the next morning, the sun was rising and everything looked different. My street looked gray and dull. My house looked dead like a coffin. I walked inside and Michael was making coffee. He turned to me, smiling, and asked, "How was your night? Did you have fun?" I looked at this man who had built a life for me, who had cared for me when I was sick, who had supported me through every career change, and I felt nothing. I was so high on the dopamine of the affair that I couldn't feel guilt yet. I just felt impatience. I wanted out. I dropped the bomb 3 days later. I didn't tell him about the affair initially. I just told him I was unhappy. I told him I needed to find myself. It's the classic coward script. Michael was blindsided. He cried. He begged me to go to therapy. He asked what he had done wrong. Watching a strong man break down is a haunting image. But I was cold. I had my escape plan. I had Liam. I moved out the following week. I rented a small apartment, waiting for Liam to return from the first leg of his tour so we could start our life together. I felt triumphant. I felt like I had escaped a trap. But then reality began to bleed in. Liam came back and he moved in with me. The fantasy of the tortured artist is very different from the reality of living with a 38-year-old man who has never held a steady job. Liam wasn't romantic. He was chaotic. He drank too much. He was moody. He would disappear for days without texting. He didn't pay bills. He expected me to handle everything, just like Michael did, but without offering any of the security or respect Michael had given me. The passion that fueled our affair turned into volatility. We fought constantly. He was jealous and possessive. He threw my past with Michael in my face. The man I thought was my soulmate was actually a narcissist who just wanted an audience. 6 months after leaving my marriage, I was sitting on the floor of my empty apartment. Liam had stormed out after a fight about rent money. I was alone. I scrolled through my phone and found a picture of Michael. It was from a vacation we took 2 years ago. He was looking at the camera, holding 2 ice cream cones, smiling that gentle, reliable smile. I realized then, with a horror that made me physically ill, what I had done. I had traded a diamond for a rock because the rock was shiny. I had traded a man who loved me for a memory that didn't exist. I had burned down a mansion to warm my hands by a dumpster fire. I tried to call Michael. I needed to hear his voice. I needed to apologize. I needed to beg. The phone rang and rang, then it went to voicemail. I left a message, sobbing, telling him I made a mistake, telling him I wanted to come home. He called me back the next day. His voice was different. It wasn't the warm voice. See, I knew. It was steel. He told me that he had filed the papers. He told me that he was selling the house. He told me that he hoped I was happy, but that he never wanted to see me again. He said, "I loved you enough to let you go, Sarah. Please don't come back." That was the moment I truly died. Not when I cheated, but when I realized the door was locked from the inside. Now, I live alone. Liam is gone. He moved on to another woman who fell for his guitar and his sad eyes. I work, I come home, and I sit in silence. I think about Michael every single day. I think about the tire pressure. I think about the coffee. I think about the safety I despised and how I would give anything, absolutely anything, to be bored again. If you are watching this and you are reconnecting with an old flame, thinking, what if? Stop. Look at the person beside you. Look at the life you built. The past is a nice place to visit, but you cannot live there. The butterflies you feel? That isn't love. That's anxiety. That's the thrill of the fall. But the landing will break every bone in your body. I am the living proof. Don't throw away your future for a ghost.